Cars aren't cheap, there's no denying that. But the cars we want to talk to you about in this video aren't just out of some people's budget, they're out of almost everybody's budget. These are the 20 most expensive cars in the world. Number 20. Mercedes EQ Silver Arrow. You can't help but feel that some of the cars manufacturers produce today are boring compared to what we've had in the past. Think Ferrari 250 GTO, Porsche 911, and Chevrolet El Camino. But Mercedes-Benz is trying something new. They're actually looking to the past to influence their future models, which is how they came up with the Mercedes EQ Silver Arrow in 2018. They took inspiration from the 1937 W125 record wagon, an experimental, streamlined, high-speed Grand Prix racing car, and slapped a heap of modern bits and bobs on it to make it desirable to today's buyers. The resultant Silver Arrow is genuinely something special. It's about 17 feet from nose to tail, making it longer than a Mercedes S-Class, and it has a long hood, short front overhang, and a pointy, tapered tail. The entire low-slung body also features carbon fiber and alu-beam silver paint as a nod to the decades-old record wagon. The headlights look super aggressive as thin LED stripes, and the digital grille-shaped panel adds to that wow factor. The Silver Arrow even has uniquely smooth and broad wheel arches, huge wheels in a rose gold color with 168 spokes, and an electric engine, which the record wagon definitely didn't have. This work of art concept car was shown off to car enthusiasts at the Pebble Beach Car Show, and more than a few people were eager to get their hands on one if they ever became available.
Like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Now, it's time for the odd topic. Let's chat about the Mercedes-Benz biome for a bit. At present, it's nothing but a concept, but should this idea make it to full production, it will become one of the most expensive cars on the planet. Why, you ask? Well, because it won't be built on a production line, it will be grown in a lab. Future's weird, yo. Would you buy a car that was grown, or do you prefer the traditional method? As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below using the hashtag OddTopic. Number 19. Draco GTE. It doesn't make much sense for manufacturers to produce top-of-the-line petrol or diesel vehicles these days. Many car buyers are all about electric vehicles, but most car buyers still want something special, and the Draco GTE definitely ticks that box. An electric car startup company called Draco Motors GTE, started by Silicon Valley engineer entrepreneurs Dean Draco and Shiv Sekand, wanted to create something special and different from the electric vehicle offerings from companies like Tesla. Their goal was to develop a better driving car, which is how they came up with the hugely expensive $1.25 million Draco GTE. This vehicle of magnificence made its first appearance at the Quail, a motorsports event, before the major car show at Pebble Beach. Here, it was met with positive reviews. The Draco GTE has an electric motor for each wheel, an innovative battery, and special Draco Drive OS software. It also sets itself apart from many other electric vehicles by having a 1,200 horsepower output, excellent cornering capabilities, and an incredible amount of power that makes you feel like you're in a race car. Take it around a racetrack and you'll feel like you're in a meaty, grunty, fuel-powered beast. That's how good it is. But why so expensive? Well, Draco Motors GTE never set out to develop a car with money in mind. They aren't even necessarily interested in saving the planet, since Shiv Sekand said they would use nuclear power if they could. They're simply car lovers and want to create something special and ultimately unique, regardless of the cost. Number 18. Mazzanti Evantra 1000 Cavalli. The Mazzanti Evantra 1000 Cavalli was unveiled as a prototype in 2016, and you can almost guarantee that more than a few car lovers were eager to see this work of art brought into production. According to manufacturers Mazzanti, the Evantra 1000 Cavalli was an extreme version of the Evantra hypercar, and they wanted to capitalize on the many skills and experiences their team had gathered from the 2 decades before their 1000 Cavalli. What they've created is the Picasso of the car world. It's a beautiful hypercar with a 7.4-liter V8 twin-turbo engine capable of producing 1,121 horsepower, and it transmits about 1,210 Newton-meters of torque to the rear wheels. The millicavalli also has a 6-speed gearbox that helps it go from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 2.7 seconds, with an overall top speed of about 248 miles per hour. You might think this vehicle weighs a ton with so much power under the hood, but it's lightweight at just 2,866 pounds. And as you're probably thinking, yeah, it is expensive. Mazzanti only plans to create about 25 Evantra millicavalli at a rate of 5 per year, so you probably won't get much change at a $1.2 million. Number 17. The Ferrari LaFerrari. When a car gets James May's attention for all the right reasons, you just know it's gonna be a winner, and the Ferrari LaFerrari is. James actually took this hybrid beast for a spin on Top Gear during episode 5 of Series 22, and he was nothing short of impressed. This utter powerhouse boasts a 789 horsepower V12 engine with a 161 horsepower boost from its electric motor, and it comes with a custom interior suited to the buyer. How many cars can you buy off the lot with an interior made just for you? Probably very few. And that might be why it's easily one of the most expensive cars in the world, with the retail price starting at $1.42 million. That's just the starting price, ladies and gentlemen. But honestly, the Ferrari LaFerrari would definitely be at the top of your shopping list if you had the money. It has a top speed of 220 miles an hour and is often described as one of Ferrari's most powerful and fastest production models. Between 2013 and 2016, they only built 499 of them, which also makes them among the most desirable and sought-after Ferraris as well. Number 16. Pagani Huayra. When Top Gear's Richard Hammond reviewed the Pagani Huayra, which at the time was the Italian manufacturer's latest supercar, he described it as his favorite supercar. Now, we all know how many supercars Richard Hammond has seen and driven, so that's really saying something. This beautiful work of art is for sale with a price tag starting from $3.4 million, which gives you some insight into how magical this vehicle is. Why make it so expensive if it's not magic? First of all, it looks like it's built solely for the racetrack. Anyone would think you were heading to a track day every time you were making your commute to the office. It also has many racetrack-like features, such as carbon titanium materials, a potent V12 engine, and a striking aerodynamic design to give it those go-fast looks. But it really doesn't need to look fast, because it's easy to tell it will be fast. The twin turbocharged V12 engine produces 791 horsepower and 775 pounds-feet of torque. It can also reach 60 miles an hour in just 3.3 seconds, meaning he'll definitely be first through the green light in traffic. Pagani only plan to make 40 Huayras, so it won't only be one of the most expensive cars, but also one of the rarest, and likely one of the most desirable for car collectors and speedsters alike. Number 15. McLaren Elva. If you have a spare $2 million floating around, you might like to add the McLaren Elva to your wish list. This hypercar will easily cost you upwards of $2 million, but you probably won't mind when you first lay eyes on it. It'll probably be love at first sight. Sure, it has the same engine as the McLaren 720S, so you'd almost say they've been a bit lazy in this respect. But they've worked their magic on it. It's now tuned to over 800 horsepower, which means it has more power than the McLaren Senna. Also, only around 150 McLaren Elvas were ever made, so you aren't exactly gonna hop into someone else's at your local grocery store. That's a plus. But there are a few points that actually might put you off spending $2 million on this vehicle in particular. First of all, you wouldn't want to live anywhere particularly rainy. For your massive investment, you don't even get a roof, or a windshield, or even windows. But in another, there isn't even a door handle. To open the door and get into your pride and joy, you have to pop a button that's hidden inside of the car. Without the essentials like, I don't know, a form of shelter while you're driving in the rain, it wouldn't be the most practical car. Not to mention, it would be a thief's ideal target when they can just hop over the side and nick your wallet. Number 14. Zinger 21C. When you think of 3D printing, you probably picture little plastic trinkets that you can pop on your desk and admire. What you probably didn't picture was a $1.7 million hypercar. That's right, an LA startup company called Zinger Vehicles produced the world's first 3D printed hypercar, and you wouldn't even be able to tell. Around 80 of them went into production, and nearly all of the chassis' load-bearing parts were 3D manufactured. But there are also so many other exciting features contributing towards its immense price tag. There's the in-house developed V8 hybrid drivetrain, which produces more horsepower than a Bugatti Veyron and can hit the road at up to 268 miles an hour. It can also reach 0 to 62 miles an hour in just 1.9 seconds. Which surely has to do with the 2.9-liter twin-turbo V8 engine and 2 electric motors mounted on the front 2 axles. This unique car is also arrow-shaped and has a configuration similar to a fighter jet, the 1.1 seating layout. But while supercars are notoriously compact and uncomfortable, the Zinger 21C is deceivingly comfortable. It comes with soft-touch fabric in the cabin and supportive chairs that were developed with the help of a furniture design company. Number 13. Ferrari Monza. If you had $1.8 million to spare, you could probably afford to buy 60 of the most common vehicles in the United States, the Ford F-150. But you could also buy one exceptional car, the Ferrari Monza. I know which one I'd own. The 2021 Ferrari Monza SP2 was launched as part of the Icona series and immediately had car lovers drooling. It's a 2-seater roofless car with a 6.5-liter V12 petrol engine, staggered 21 by 20-inch alloy wheels, selectable driving modes with adaptive stability control, and carbon fiber shelled bucket seats as the icing on the cake. Sure, it doesn't come with a roof, but who cares if you live somewhere sunny? This happiness on wheels can reach 62 miles an hour in 2.9 seconds and has 799 horsepower to give it that angry sound. And it's also beautiful to drive, which is what really matters the most. It goes like a hot knife through butter on smooth roads, but you can push a button to enjoy comfort on bumpy roads. It also has wet, sport, and race modes, should you find yourself wanting to drive in some unique conditions every once in a while. While the price tag can be a bit off-putting, any lottery winner or wealthy person might just consider the 2021 Ferrari Monza as their next vehicle purchase. Number 12. Gordon Murray T33 Supercar. When you picture a supercar in your mind, you probably imagine something edgy, exciting, almost angry. Elegant and dainty are two words you don't usually use, but that's why this Gordon Murray T33 supercar stands out so much. Sure, it has all the power, ferociousness, and excitement of your average supercar, but it also looks like a Sunday driver or a vehicle you'd see parked in the driveway of the average millionaire's property for commuting. The T33 is often described as beautiful, and it is. It draws inspiration from sports cars of the 1960s, but it has modern tech we appreciate today, like a lightweight carbon fiber body, a V12 engine, and far better efficiency than its predecessors. The engine certainly gives it that wow factor, too. It has a Cosworth G.O.A.T 50 that weighs just 392 pounds and revs to 11,100 RPM. Depending on your preferences, it also pairs with your choice of an instantaneous gear change system or an G.O.A.T 6-speed manual paddle shift gearbox. But let's not forget the magical interior either. Gordon Murray aimed for absolute driving perfection, and the cabin formed part of that. Everything is simple and clean, including the aluminum alloy pedals, floodlit analog tachometer, and aluminum rotary controls. The T33 supercar is honestly a masterclass, and any squillionaire would be delighted to have it parked in their garage. Number 11. Koenigsegg Gemera. Swedish sports car manufacturer Koenigsegg has had some pretty expensive cars, like the Regera for $2 million and the Jesko for $2.8 million. So when you see some come up from this elite manufacturer for under $2 million, you're probably eager to add it to your shopping cart. What an absolute steal! I wouldn't call $1.7 million a steal, but the Koenigsegg Gemera is definitely one of the cheapest in their range. and this beast was unveiled to absolutely no one at the 2020 Geneva Motor Show. This world-famous show was canceled at the last minute due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and most car manufacturers decided to host online press releases to show off their new developments. But not Koenigsegg. They remained at their stand at the Geneva Motor Show and showed off their unique set of wheels to an empty room. But this act probably made sure that the Gemera took the spotlight, and it's a car worthy of your money. It has 3 electric motors producing 1,100 horsepower, a 2-liter 3-cylinder engine with 600 horsepower, and it can run on electric power for 31 miles at speeds of up to 186 miles an hour with its 800-volt battery. But if you were eager to get your hands on one, you'd better be quick. Koenigsegg makes vehicles in small numbers, and they sell out fast. Number 10. Zenvo TSR S. When you buy any car off the lot, customization options are limited. And by limited, I basically mean you don't have any. It's the color it is, and it has the interior it has. Take it or leave it and get off the lot. But if you were to drop nearly $1.8 million on a brand new Zenvo TSR S, you can make it the car you want it to be. Danish automaker Zenvo Automotive has made its configurator open to the general public so you can custom create your vehicle when you order it. Firstly, you'll be able to choose from 16 amazing colors like red orange, Dansk red, and Lee Grand. You can even pick your carbon fiber preferences like forged carbon fiber in Lamborghini styling or traditional carbon fiber. Fancy some tinting? No worries. You can choose a tint color for the exterior carbon fiber parts out of vibrant colors like purple, green, blue, or red. The cabin is just as important as the exterior, so you can make adjustments here too. Choose the color for your rear diffuser and wing, front splitter, and side skirts, and pick a finish for the brake calipers and wheels. Finally, choose your configuration out of track and comfort. The main difference between these two configurations is that you receive a different steering wheel and a bit more carbon fiber when you opt for track. Honestly, $1.8 million sounds like a bargain after all these choices. Number 9. Hennessy Venom F5. If power is a massive consideration when purchasing a new car, set your sights on the Hennessy Venom F5. Sure, it costs an eye-watering $2.1 million, but you'll quickly learn why it clears out your bank account. This masterpiece by Hennessy Special Vehicles has a race car-like cockpit, 1,817 horsepower, a top speed of 334 miles an hour, and an unbelievable amount of attitude. It comes with a twin-turbo 6.6-liter pushrod V8 engine, 7-speed single-clutch automated manual transmission, and 5 drive modes: Sport, Drag, Track, Wet, and F5. It's only once it's in F5 mode that you'll really see where the $2.1 million comes from. In this mode, you will have full access to all its power. But Hennessy doesn't just trust anyone with the F5 mode. You actually have to attend and finish an F5 drive training program to gain your F5 license and unlock that special mode. This school is included in the purchase price of the car, and the course is held in Sealy, Texas. And once you graduate, you can learn what this car is truly capable of. It takes just 2.6 seconds to reach 62 miles an hour and is geared to achieve 334 miles an hour. Number 8. Bentley Bacaller. If you ever see someone driving around in a Bentley Bacaller, you just know their wallet is packed full of bennies. Just 12 of these elite vehicles were produced, and they come with a massive price tag of around $2 million. The British luxury car manufacturer Bentley was supposed to show off their latest masterpiece at the Geneva Motor Show, which the COVID-19 pandemic caused the cancellation of. But word still got out via the media about how special this car truly was. Before long, all order slots had been filled, with not even a pandemic getting in the way of the rich and the famous having the Bentley Bacaller. Interestingly, these two-seater Grand Tours don't even come with roofs, but it's a minor flaw in the grand scheme of things. You'll be too busy enjoying having the wind blow through your hair as you reach 60 miles an hour in just 3.5 seconds. Before long, you could be approaching that 200-mile-an-hour mark, which is illegal, so don't do that. Each Bentley Bacaller was customized and personalized for its owners, and they all come with 6-liter W12 TSI petrol engines capable of delivering 659 horsepower. Sure, it's not the most practical car for rainy Britain, but you look like a real superstar driving through the streets of California in one of these bad boys. Number 7. SSC Tuatara. 2020 was an awful year for many people, but it was a pretty good one for car company SSC. In that year, they produced a small hypercar called the SSC Tuatara that broke the record for being the world's fastest production car, and the speed 316.11 miles per hour. Now that's fast. SSC was started by Gerard Shelby, a trained engineer who used to run a medical device company. He then got to work making the world's fastest car through his company SSC, which is privately owned with no backing from any other giant automaker. Somehow, they managed to make this absolute weapon without much outside assistance. The Tuatara gets its name from a lizard endemic to New Zealand. Designer Jason Castriota took inspiration from the lizard in many ways, such as the single windshield wiper to look like the lizard's third eye, the rear vents that look a bit like gills, and the sharp eyes and pointed nose. But it's obviously a lot faster than a lizard. With its 5.9-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine, the Tuatara Hypercar produces an incredible 1,750 horsepower. SSC only plans to make 100 Tuataras, and this small company can only realistically produce 20 per year. And if you want to get your hands on one, you can expect to pay $1.9 million. Number 6. Lotus Evija. The world is all about electric vehicles right now, and car manufacturers are starting to get quite clever with what they produce. But it's hard to deny that Lotus Cars has pushed EV production to its absolute limits with the Lotus Evija, and the results are outstanding. Rather than being a hybrid like many of its competitors are, the Lotus Evija is 100% electric. It even has an ultra-fast charging system, which is bound to appeal. It looks every bit as supercar-like as you would expect from a petrol-powered model, with its grunty sound, massive rear wing, and butterfly doors, but it won't cost you the earth to run it. This beautiful car also dominates the racetrack with almost 2,000 horsepower and 1,254 pound-feet of torque coming from 4 electric motors. Alongside being one of the most powerful production cars in the world, the Lotus Evija is also one of the lightest EV hypercars ever produced at just 3,700 pounds. That might play a part in its ability to reach over 200 miles an hour and 62 miles an hour in under 3 seconds. As only 130 of them will be made, you can expect to pay over $2 million to secure one. Number 5. Mercedes-Benz Vision AVTR. While the Mercedes-Benz Vision AVTR is just a concept car at this stage, it would definitely be on many people's buy list if it went into production for the general public. This car is just that special. It's an electric vehicle inspired by Avatar that's basically a trendsetter in every sense of the word. It has a combined engine power in excess of 350 kilowatts and has 4 individual engines powering the wheels. These motors have fully variable torque distribution, and you can move the front and rear axles together or in different ways. This actually allows the Vision AVTR to move 30 degrees sideways. It's basically a crab car. It's also jam-packed full of unique and rare features you rarely see on other cars, like 33 multi-directional movable surface flaps, rose gold tire rim arms, wood flooring, vegan leather interior, and 3D graphics. It also has something most people wouldn't have even heard of: vehicle-to-grid function. This restores energy to the public through AI-controlled batteries. A car that gives back. Who would have thought? Interestingly, it also has a brain-computer interface that measures the driver's neuronal activity to trigger targeted vehicle functions. So it's basically a mind-controlled vehicle? What on earth will they come up with next? We don't know how much this vehicle costs, but you can expect it to be a pretty penny. Number 4. Aston Martin Vulcan. If you have $2.3 million burning a hole in your pocket, why not buy an Aston Martin Vulcan? There are just 24 of them in production, and aside from the pleasure of owning a vehicle fewer than 24 other people in the world have, you'll also benefit from a range of exciting features. The Vulcan has a carbon fiber body, Brembo racing calipers on race-ready carbon ceramic disc brakes, a 7-liter V12 engine producing 800 horsepower, and a top speed of 224 miles an hour. You'll also be able to travel at 60 miles an hour in just 2.9 seconds. When Jeremy Clarkson drove it, he said it feels a hell of a lot faster than that. But this isn't a car you can hop into for a quick trip to the local corner store. It's a track-only car, so you'll have to trailer it to your local racetrack to feel all that delicious Aston Martin power. But it's not uncomfortable like many track cars. You're often made to feel hot, sweaty, and cramped in race cars, but it's surprisingly cool, and the seats are comfortable. Although there is a catch. Before owning one of these cars, you must undergo professional training. Aston Martin makes Le Mans winning driver Darren Turner available for the 24 people fortunate enough to call the Aston Martin Vulcan theirs. Number 3. McLaren Speedtail. With a name like Speedtail, you could definitely expect something special from McLaren. This 2020 vehicle is the epitome of elite hypercars and comes with a starting price tag of $2 million. It has a top speed of 250 miles an hour, making it the fastest McLaren ever built, and it boasts a 1,035 horsepower producing hybrid powertrain to make any car fan froth at the mouth. It can even go from 0 to 186 miles an hour in just 12.8 seconds. But that's not all. This highly stylized car is rare. Just 106 would be entering into production, and all had been pre-sold. And honestly, you can see why people jumped at the chance to sign the dotted line, even at that price. Alongside their incredible speed, these cars have a range of superb features like HD digital cameras that glide out of the doors, carbon fiber driver seats, twin turbocharged 4-liter V8 engines and electric motors, and custom-stitched seats. They are easily one of McLaren's best creations to date. Number 2. Rimac Nevera. Electric anything hit the market with higher price tags than their fuel-powered counterparts. They were new tech, and it took a long time for any exciting new electric products to be competitively priced. There's still hope for electric vehicles to be more affordable for buyers from all walks of life, but it's unlikely that the average person will ever be able to purchase a Rimac Nevera, and that's because it is the most expensive electric car in the world. But it does make sense why it costs over $2 million to buy. The Rimac Nevera has a top speed of 256 miles an hour and can travel over 330 miles on a single battery charge. It can also reach 60 miles an hour in 1.85 seconds and cover the 0 to 186 miles per hour sprint in about 9.3 seconds. That might be helped in part by how lightweight it is. The Rimac Nevera features lightweight carbon fiber, making it weigh just 440 pounds. And it's certainly not lacking any fancy features for your money. It has active aero on many components like the rear wing, rear diffuser, front bonnet, and underside, and it has an all-wheel torque vectoring 2 system that boasts more efficiency than your average electronic stability program and traction control. If you want a car that turns heads and provides an incredible driving experience, this Rimac Nevera definitely ticks those boxes. Number 1. Pininfarina Battista. You can't help but feel a bit guilty about buying a gas-guzzling car, even if you have all the money in the world to spend on a supercar and the many tanks of gas it needs. But when you buy the Pininfarina Battista, you can have all that supercar power without the environmental guilt attached to it. Just 5 of these incredible cars will be built, and they'll all come with price tags in excess of $2.8 million. They're all battery-powered too, which makes them among the most expensive battery-powered cars on the market today. Pininfarina Battistas are faster than Formula 1 cars racing today, reaching speeds of 62 miles an hour in under 2 seconds and 186 miles an hour in under 12 seconds. You can also enjoy zero emissions for more than 310 miles. They come with 120 kilowatt-hour battery packs, 1,900 horsepower from 4 electric motors, and 5 drive modes: Calma, Pura, Furioso, Energica, and Carattere. And the best part? They're road legal. According to the manufacturer, they are the most powerful road-legal Italian cars ever made. With the price of fuel these days and the general cost of living, many people are probably second-guessing their decision to buy a new car, especially a super expensive one. But if money wasn't an object and you had complete freedom to choose any car you wanted, which would you go for? Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time.